Hey, good evening. We are here today on a public meeting for the Resolution 13-25, declaratory resolution of the Common Council.
Resolution 13-25, declaratory resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, declaring an economic revitalization area and waiver of certain requirements for Muncie Hotel Partners, LLC.
Okay. Council essentially approved the concept of a tax abatement for this project last year when it authorized Mayor Ridenour to enter into a pilot agreement with the developers. The request for an abatement is a complete abatement for 10 years, subject to the pilot payments that will be made by the developer during the 10-year period. Anyone here to speak on that?
Yes, Rick Yenser, newsman and author. I was here just a moment ago on the committee. It came to my attention a few months ago that you want to waive the law because they didn't file a statement of benefits last year. And for a millionaire that's asking for tax breaks that doesn't even operate much in this city, I'm kind of wondering why you're doing this, let alone letting him, what'd you say, Gibson? He didn't break the law, he just didn't comply with it. Well, that's the problem with this project, because you're not seeing any local labor on this. You're not seeing union labor on this. You're seeing a few contractors that they picked up on concrete. And frankly, I'm not sure the economic benefit of having another hotel in this town, because you've seen already two, a new Holiday Express, and Hilton's building the suites, which will probably get rid of all those old hotels 30 years ago were built. And it's going to have an impact downtown. Ball State uses the Marriott now for a lot of its athletic and other events. That's all going to shift. And then what are you going to do when Marriott says, well, we don't have the business downtown? I don't think you're looking at the future of this, because Ball State, you know, over the half century I've been around here, and lately over the last 20 years, they've gobbled up a lot of property, tax-paying property. They don't pay property taxes. Now, you're going to get payment in lieu of taxes on this project. But again, without that local labor, and I heard some questions tonight about how much you're going to pay the hospitality industry, and we know, go down to Marriott and ask them how much hospitality workers make. That's real easy. But given the lack of labor and union labor on this project, I would suggest you not approve it.
Thank you, Mr. Yenser. I think you heard, like I heard from the committee, that
Harold, this is just the public hearing part. It'll
What?
be up on the agenda for further.
is there anyone else has questions or concerns? Seeing there's no one else coming up, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Made by Councilman Selby, seconded by Councilman McIntosh. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I ain't getting up this time. I get to talking too much.
You are the best.
Good evening. I'd like to call the July 7th meeting of the Muncie Common Council to order. If you'll stand with myself and my colleagues, face the flag. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, if you'll remain standing for a moment of silence and reflection. Thank you. You want to do the invocation, bro?
You just passed it on. I could have went right into it.
We still have to. No, it's next. It's next. We will have our invocation by Minister William McIntyre.
Okay.
Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you right now, Father God, giving you the praise and the glory. Father God, I just thank you for this opportunity for our council to come before the community. Father God, we open up all hearts and minds that we can make the right decisions today, Father God. And I thank you for blessing each and every one that's here, Father God. So continue to hold Muncie close to your bosom right now, Father God. Hold our country close to your bosom. Things are really in situations that are hard to deal with right now. So Father God, again, we just thank you for all you do. It's in Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, next up will be citizens recognition, and I think we probably, in my absence last month, we kind of got sidetracked on it. I believe Councilman Selby was up for the recognition this month.
So she can do it next month.
Next month, yeah, you can do it next month if you don't. All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Green,
Here.
Mr. Garrett,
Here.
Mr. Dishman,
Present.
Mr. Bassel,
Here.
Mr. McIntosh,
Here.
Ms. Elliott,
Here.
Ms. Selby.
Here.
Ms. Powell,
Here.
President Mason.
Here. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes of last?
So
month's
moved.
meeting?
So moved. Second.
Second.
A motion made by Councilman McIntosh, approved by Councilman Green, seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same. Okay, committee reports. Are there any committee reports?
Mr. President,
Yes.
the Tax Abatement Committee met before the public hearing today to review and receive information regarding the tax abatement requested by Muncie Hotel Properties for Resolution 13-25. Obviously, there will be more discussion. There were definitely some opinions that were read into record, but we have a favorable recommendation of that tax abatement when we address that later in the meeting. Also, sir,
Yes.
very quickly, the Finance Committee is gearing up. That includes all 9 members of the City Council. I received information from Representative Arrington, and due to SB 1, the Muncie Civil City will have approximately 1.6 million decrease in property tax revenue for 2026, which we will have to address. The DLGF budget workshop meeting will be July 31st at 9 a.m. Mr. Wright, the city controller, has said that they will allow council persons in that meeting this year, and I look forward to attending.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say that date and time again.
Mr. Wright said in that email that it was July 31st at 9 a.m.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I have a
Councilman Selby.
question for Councilperson Powell. Councilperson Powell, do you know who the second person from council will be?
They didn't say anyone,
Okay.
so I'm guessing that would be either at the discretion of, all of them would be at the discretion of the administration and Mr. Wright. Our field representative said that there's no reason that the finance chair or any member of council can't sit in, but that will be at the discretion of the mayor. But I am hopeful that he will have the finance chair in there this year, so
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, are there any more committee reports? Okay. Okay, ordinances.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I think we skipped the appointments.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was wondering.
Board appointments. Floor is open for nominations for the opioid committee.
Mr. President, I have 3 people I'd like to nominate, and I have shared with the council all their bios, so hopefully they've had a chance to look at that and read those. I believe we have 2 of our nominees here tonight. One of them wasn't able to make it, but we'll go just kind of in order of what I've got here. I would first like to nominate Mr. Corey Matters. He works as a clinical therapist at Open Door Health Services, and I think he's here, and we'd love to hear what he has to say.
I will second that nomination.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, motion is in.
Aside from what's in my CV there, I've also taught some courses at Ball State, both undergraduate and graduate level, for addictions and substance use disorder, clinical classes for counseling. I'm currently working at Open Door, but today I don't serve to represent Open Door. I'm just a professional representing myself in this community. I was born and raised here my whole life. So I wanted to say that I don't want to be here, and I'm not happy about being here because of the reason that I'm here. You have to nominate a board to deal with these funds that have come from lots of death, right? And I deal with it all the time, trying to help people that lose children, fathers, sons. Everyone in our community is devastated by that. So knowing that I have research and evidence-based experience, that I concentrate on individuals, and that I'm trauma-informed, and I do my job well, right? There's a lot of stigma that we're going to be fighting, no matter where you put the funds. And the stigma kills people a lot, weekly, So any kind of discretion I have when it comes to what evidence or what research we're using to apply these dollars to save the most lives, which is your top line, right? I'm going to be able to advise well on what those strategies are, which ones don't work, and hopefully some funds to keep people in line with what they should be doing, because a lot of times people getting MAT services, they can't go put a lawsuit against someone for mistreating them medically. They don't have any way to do anything like that. So I look at this money as something that can defend those people so people get proper care and we can hold professionals accountable. But that's what I'd be bringing to the table. I got no qualms about it. And I live by that standard, and I would hold people to it. But any questions for me?
Mr. President,
Yes, good.
Mayor.
Yes.
Sir, I've read your resume, and it's very impressive. If elected, I know you will serve this community honorably.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I wanted to put in one last note about politics for me. I was a member of Democratic, like I was like the lowest rank official, and I resigned my position, right? Because I saw that the signs and the awareness publicly,
Oh.
like I have clients, and I didn't want them seeing anything that would keep them from getting help. And I'm not taking that kind of political stance over someone's life. You know, I need to get through to people, and I wasn't going to take a position like that that would cause someone not to come in to get help when they need help desperately. So as far as those political affiliations, I don't want any of that connected with what I'm doing for those reasons, because it gets in the way of people.
It's impressive.
Corey, I think,
She's got a question. I'm sorry.
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, first I wanna, this is not my question, but I don't think politics has, this is not a
Right.
political office, so,
Right.
but thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary, but thank you for being, very frank. I do have a question. My question is, when you're on the board, what is Mr. Matter's main priority, major goal or objective that you will hit the ground and work on right away?
To save lives, period. There's almost nothing under that. Like, people come up with objections and ideas and ways to do things. If it's not saving lives, if it's not the client-centered, if it's not a trauma-informed approach, it won't make sense. Not if you're going by the criteria that you've set the standard for on the papers that I've went over.
Great answer. Thank you.
She just said it.
Corey, it's nice to see you. You and your wife are the kind of the epitome of what community activist is. I mean, it is with what she does at Second Harvest, and I'm not taking nothing from you at all.
I understand.
And then when
I'm
you
in
come
awe of
up,
her too.
they're phenomenal. And, we met during the book signings and all that. So I got to know you a little bit. But to come up and to speak the truth when you said that you're not, you wish you didn't have to be up here. That's the passion that we need in a board like that to get some results.
Right.
The way you talk and the way you approach people, I really think, and that you can reach out to people that a lot of people couldn't, that you can break through some barriers that normally couldn't break through. And, knowing you for a while and your wife, I don't think there's anybody suitable better than you for this board, honestly.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Corey, I don't know if you remember me or not.
Yes, I do.
We go back a long ways, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, for sure.
Well, I think you'll do fine in this position. You've always been an upstanding young man, somebody that's always been respectful to me.
Right.
And I appreciate that. I think you'll do a great job at being on this board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
I feel like I'm hogging the microphone, but
All right, go ahead.
I guess.
Go ahead.
So the next person that I'd like to nominate.
Excuse me.
Oh, do we need to vote on that?
Should we-
Yes, sorry, I apologize.
Go ahead and vote on
Yep.
it.
Let's do.
But there's a
Okay, floor is open for nominations? Or did you already?
Yeah, they already did all
Okay.
You have three appointments, correct?
Right.
Correct.
So we can,
And
yes.
are you, I guess.
We can do them
roll
separately.
nominations,
Yeah.
And then if there's more than three, you need to vote.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, then you can just.
Acclamation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then the next person that I'm nominating would be Abby Gluvna. She is currently the executive director, and I think fairly new, executive director of Recovery Cafe here in Muncie.
Mm.
Abby.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I just want to say I am honored to be nominated for this, but it is hard to follow up after Corey because he is so passionate about this topic, and he has come into the cafe. And I guess what I really, really want to stress is this is powerful. And like he said, the goal here is to change lives and to save lives. And I really encourage this board to meet those people that are stuck in the cycle and to get into the community and visit these organizations that are working. Come to the Recovery Cafe, go to the soup kitchen. These are where those people are at. And it means it's way more valuable being with them in person. I mean, we can sit, behind a desk. I'm not trying to be offensive here, but we can sit behind a desk and know what the problem is, but we don't know what the problem really is until we're speaking to the people who are facing the problem.
Right.
So again, thank you for having me. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Questions?
Yeah, I do. May I ask you a question? I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Mr. Matters. What would be your, you have personal experience in this, and I'm not trying to,
That's okay.
and I think you bring a lot of empathy to the committee and understanding, and you have the educational background to support your position or your nomination. So I'm very, very proud of you. What would be your personal goal, or what's the first thing you would like to work on as a committee? An objective you'd like to, a personal objective you want to do for yourself and try to achieve within a year?
I think my goal would to have involvement in the community, kind of what I was just touching on, getting the board into those spaces and meeting the vulnerable population. That's how we learn, and that's how we address the problem based on those who are dealing with the problem. They have the answers and we can help them with that. So
Thank you so much. Great answer. Yes.
Anybody else have the question?
Okay, and the third person that I want to nominate is Neil Kring, and Neil was not able to be here. He is actually with some kids at Kings Island today, so he wasn't able to make it, but he did. Again, you have the bio. Neil's a neighborhood pastor in South Muncie, and he works with disinvested neighborhoods, and he deals a lot in harm reduction. He's a harm reduction specialist with the Muncie Folk Collective and the Additions Coalition of Delaware County. I know you all have the rest of his information in front of you too. So he's not here to ask questions, obviously, but
I'll
Second.
second that. Oh, sorry. No, I'll let you second that.
I'll still second the motion.
Okay,
Right
motion's been made and seconded that Neil Krieg, Corey
Yes.
Matters.
He's an excellent choice. An
Yes,
excellent choice.
well, and I will say that he helped me, he and Jean Marie Place helped me to craft the resolution and me to choose.
And if I may say,
Go ahead.
if I may say, one thing that is so impressive about Neil is he's boots on the ground.
Yes.
He hears it, he sees it, he helps. If you want to know what's going on in the community, call Neil, he'll tell you.
I was just going to say, I met Neil in his backyard and became a peer recovery coach with some funding he had at a church. And he introduced me to the people where I now work because of my background, and I was coming up through my master's program. And that's how I ended up working at Open Door, was from meeting Neil in his backyard and going to this program there to help people in the community. And then it just so worked out that I ended up coming to Open Door. But Neil helped secure that position for me to help more people. I met him in his backyard. So
Yeah, great.
I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey. So are there any other nominations?
Not for me.
Okay, seeing there's no other nominations, there's already been a motion made and seconded to nominate these three. Correct?
All in favor?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Good job.
Yeah.
Another point.
Okay, the other board will be the Ethics Committee. And I would like to nominate Frank Scott Jr. to that position.
Second.
Mr. President, could you clarify the parameters of this nomination? I think there's we're nominating for another political persuasion. Aren't we replacing a Democrat on the Ethics Committee?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yes.
be clear. Thank you for that.
Okay. Mr. Scott, you want to come up?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, Frank Jr., a lot of you know Frank Sr.
Yes.
Frank Jr. is a up-and-coming young man in the community. He's an entrepreneur, very astute to what's going on in the community. And I think he would be a good addition to this ethics board. He's a very open-minded young man. I sit and talk to him, and a lot of times he's mentoring me. That I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself. And
As you know, as you heard, I'm Frank Scott II. Proud to be Frank Scott II. I love the fact that my dad has a great name in the community, and I strive to be one just like my father. I am married, have two beautiful children, been married for 18 years. I know I look like I've been married for 5, but it's been 18. I love people. I love helping people. The reason that I started my business in the community, I stayed in my community because I wanted to be a help to my community, and I wanted to help people. And what I've done is I try to bring in people who don't have an opportunity to be able to have an opportunity so that they can all grow. And my biggest thing is really helping people from the inside out. It's a detail shop that I had, and I believe in cleaning cars, but I also believe the most important vehicle to keep clean is your inner person, and it's who you are as an individual. So that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions, please ask me questions. I'm just going to be frank. I know my dad makes that statement. He instilled it in me. He named me Frank, so all I can do is just be myself, be honest, and be as genuine and authentic as possible.
May I ask you
anybody
a
have any
question?
questions? Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Councilman Sutton.
Okay, could I? May I?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background in schools, where you've gone to school, and what, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I graduated from Muncie Central High School. Proud to be a graduate of Muncie Central, Bearcat.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of my family were rebels, so I mean, I'm on both sides.
I'll give him more.
I graduated in 2002, and I actually was the commencement speaker at our high school graduation. So it was an honor to be able to encourage our students to see the future. I also went to Ivy Tech, and I was a part of the first cohort for the entrepreneurship class, and I received the Outstanding Student Award for that.
Yeah.
And I also, in 2023, received the Champion Entrepreneur Award from Innovation Connector. So that's just a little bit about my background in education.
Councilman Selby.
Yes. Are you aware of who the other committee members are on the ethics committee? Do you know any of them? Have you gotten a chance, to research that or figure out who else? And because I want to see how you would work with them, and
Oh,
because it's already established, and and they've met a couple of times, so I just want to make sure it's a perfect addition.
yes, ma'am.
It's gonna gel beautifully.
Yes, ma'am. If I could be transparent and honest, I'm not exactly sure all of the committee members. But I'm one person who I honestly don't believe that I don't need to get in where I fit in. I want to go where we can grow. So if I can be a part of that committee, and if I'm elected, I think we could grow together, and I think it'll be a great addition.
Great answer.
Yes, ma'am.
I will say that you've made your dad proud just being here today. Just getting mentioned or thought about for this role is says a lot about you. So great job. Keep it up. I mean, your dad would be proud. My question is, if elected, what is your impact you bring to the board that you don't think that we have right now? Well, what's your biggest asset that you'll bring?
As far as myself, the biggest asset that I could bring would be my authentic self. I'm just me. I'm pure. I have no agenda. I'm not trying to come in and change anything. I don't look to have any personal goals
Mhm.
or anything as far as what the committee is going to be and do. I just want to be a part of, you know, a place where we excel and where we thrive together and do what's best for the community, what's best for the board, what's best for the people. And that's just who I am. I'm authentic. I'm young. If you need, I don't know if they have any young people on there. I don't know the age, but you know, if you're looking for longevity or if you're
No
looking for something
comment,
that's
right,
going to
Chip?
be there,
Uh,
you know, you can get that in me.
You will be the youngest.
So I guess what I'll bring is a youthful mindset and a new perspective from a young person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Scott?
Mr. President, I just want to make a comment and apologies to you. I truly thought it was going to be Mr. Scott Senior.
Oh, don't apologize. That's a
why I had to
compliment. I
ask you some
appreciate that.
Questions to get the feel, but hey, I'm comfortable now, so.
Yeah. When you see me, you see my father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Okay, so, Mr. Scott, we'll open, all in favor of selecting Mr. Scott for the Ethics Committee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries. Congratulations,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Scott.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, any other board? Are there any other boards that we need to fill a position? Or was there a position, Councilman Powell, that somebody
I don't think so.
had done that we needed to revisit?
Not to my recollection. Is there a board or a position that we need to address?
I believe one of your appointments to the Beech Grove Board of Trustees, Denise King, she was just appointed 2 years ago. They are typically 4-year terms, but she was finishing the term, I believe, of a commissioner or trustee that resigned midway through their term. And so I believe she would need to be reappointed or replaced.
Has she been asked? Do we know if
She
she would
has
like to
been.
redo
Yeah.
it?
She has been.
Is she interested?
Yes.
I would like, may I nominate her?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to nominate Denise King to reappointment for the board, please.
I'll
Beech
second
Grove
that.
Cemetery Grove. Thank you.
Okay, motion was made by Ms. Selvey to nominate Ms. King, seconded by Councilman Garrett. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Ordinances previously introduced.
Ordinance 19-25, an ordinance to vacate a portion of a certain unimproved public street at 401 South Lombard Drive and 400 South Terra Lane in the city of Muncie, Indiana, Delaware County.
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance 19-25.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Motion made by Ms. Councilperson Powell, seconded by Councilperson Basham. Roll call. Or was that a voice vote?
Speak.
Discussion.
Speak.
I'm just here if you have any questions. My name is David Carnes. I'm an attorney with Dennis Winger and Abe Roll, and I represent the petitioners who are all here tonight for this final vote on this ordinance to vacate the portion of West Adams Street. 547, it's on the edge of the plat. Nothing's been done to improve that, except for the fact that the Manns have a driveway under there that has been built over time. So when they bought the property, they didn't realize that that wasn't part of the property. So they started researching how to get this accomplished. So I appreciate you guys looking at it tonight and hopefully passing it to vacate the portion of the alley that is in that subset of South Lombard and Terra Lane.
I just want to, I think I remember this, but this is all, like, all the neighbors have agreed to this and everything, correct? They've all worked together?
Yeah, we sent out notice to the neighbors that were at least adjoining. They're not in the same subdivision. We've answered questions that a couple of them have possessed to us over the month or two we've been involved in this process, and the two neighbors that are specifically involved joined together as part of this petition. They're the primary ones that are in this subset of the vacation.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mann was one of my past students, and I know him and his family. I feel very comfortable, trusting them with that piece of property. I think it's going to be super maintained, and it'll improve the city. And I think, I trust you and your family with that piece of land from the city. So I just wanted to add that.
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of Councilperson Selby. I've known the Mans for probably my whole life. I've watched you grow up, seen what kind of man you become, kind of husband you become. You mimic your father, which is a highly, I don't think you can get much better than a God-loving, God-fearing man as your father is. They've maintained the property. They are, when you say you're a Southsider, and Mr. Mann, as a Shed Towner, to take care of your property, as they always have, and I believe they always will. They are great neighbors. They are great stewards to the south side of town. Your parents they've had that sweeper shop for how long? Over 35 years that they've been taking care of the south side of town. And that I know they'll take care of this property. It's just nice to see you in a meeting. It is. It's nice to see you. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay. Now I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 19-25.
We've already done that. You already got that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, ordinance 21-25.
20.
20.
You skipped one. Ordinance 20-25, an ordinance amending chapter 95, section 95.09 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinance entitled Parks and Recreation.
Mr. President, I make a motion that I'm sorry. I need to
Okay.
be recognized. I apologize. I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 20-25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilperson Powell, seconded by Councilman Garrett. Is there anyone here to speak on that?
Mr. President.
Yes.
You've made the note, Counselor, that we need to include in this adoption an amendment that corrects the spelling of canon in Cannon Commons. Am I correct?
Yeah.
How do we take care of that?
Yeah.
Make a
Canning.
motion to address it.
Yeah. Cannon Commons is named after the former mayor, and I believe it was Canan.
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
Then yes, that would need to be corrected.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend this resolution or this ordinance to include the correct spelling of canon.
I will second that.
Okay, motion's made by Councilman Basham, seconded by Councilperson Powell, that we amend the spelling of canon along with this ordinance.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 20-25 as amended.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ordinance number 21-25 now.
Ordinance 21-25, an ordinance of the city of Muncie amending parking regulations near the village, Ball State University. Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, this ordinance seeks to amend parking regulations in the village in order to create more on-street parking to accommodate new developments. The motion?
Did you make the motion or?
I did.
Okay, motion made by Councilman McIntosh, seconded by Councilman Garrett. Anybody to speak on that? Any questions? No. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ordinance number 22-25.
Ordinance 22-25, an ordinance to amend the city of Muncie comprehensive zoning ordinance from the R-1 resident zone to the R-5 resident zone on premises located at 2700 Block North Benton Road, Muncie, Indiana, 47304.
Okay, this is to allow construction of a triplex
Mhm.
on property that is currently unimproved.
Yeah, you'll need a motion first.
Yep.
And then after that, I'd like to speak on this one.
I'll make the motion that we introduce, or that we,
Okay, motion's been made by Councilperson Gullion, seconded by Councilman Green.
You got something, Dave?
Yeah, Mr. President, if I may, as
Yeah.
I said in my legal summary, the applicant before the Plan Commission, Mr. Doherty, is a client of mine. I presented this on his behalf to the Plan Commission. My role tonight is simply to explain the purpose of the request, which is to rezone this property from a R1 to an R5. It is an unimproved parcel of property, and he wants to be able to construct a triplex. I believe there are photos in the packet that was submitted to the Plan Commission. The primary difference between R1 and R5 is that multifamily homes may be constructed. Mr. Doherty is here tonight if there are any questions about the project.
I've just got something to say. When we worked with Mr. Lowe, we talked about with the gas station over there, further the kind of northern side of town, that we look at good zoning, good business. This is good zoning. This is a really good deal that I think that will help us. We changed that R1 to an R5. That opens up a lot of doors for housing, single-family housing, allows us to get a little bit more people brought in. And it's good zoning. It's good practice that we do this with properties that are, non-functioning, non-representative until now, where we can get some builds on and we can get people moved in and we really utilize that lot space at its full potential. And I believe this is what this does.
Mr. President.
Yes, Councilman Doherty.
This happens to be in my district, in District 4, and this is actually a road that is basically, I think, all duplexes. They're all multifamily homes already. And I think that those were kind of grandfathered in, and that this one is just, since he's building now after the fact, has to be changed. Is that basically correct?
Yeah, I believe most of the other properties in that area are
Almost all on Keeler, I
R1, but they contain multifamily housing duplexes that were constructed.
So it would
before.
fit into the, yeah, it would fit in on the street.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Yes, Ms. Selby.
I do have a question, if I may, about parking. Will there be sufficient parking, or is that going to create any congestion? Do they have their own private parking? Are they going to be parking on the street? What's going to happen? Thank you.
Yeah, every unit will have its own private driveway, so there's no on-street parking.
What's the number of spaces, 2 or 3
There's
per?
2 spaces.
Two
They'll have a
spaces.
single car garage with 2 spaces.
2 spaces. Okay, thank you. That's it. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
And did this not receive a 9-0 vote from the planning commission?
Yes, it was a 9-0 favorable.
Yes, that's right.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Doherty. Okay, so the motions,
Sorry, late.
okay, motion's been made and seconded.
This is just for introduction, so you can do a voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance number 23-25.
Ordinance 23-25, an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance from the R5 Resident Zone to the BV Variety Business Zone on premises located at 2611 and 2619 West Ethel Avenue, Vac Alley, and 700 Block South Manning Avenue, Muncie, Indiana 47304.
Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on that?
No, you gotta get a motion, don't you? Gotta get a motion, right?
I'll make a motion that we introduce ordinance 23-25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Powell, seconded by Councilman Garrett.
Thank you. Good evening, Councilman. My name is David Carnes. I'm an attorney with Dennis Winger Neighborhood 324 West Jackson. I'm here to speak on behalf of Robert Huddleston, who is the owner of this property and is requesting the variance. Mr. Huddleston has worked for the last few months to vacate the alley that was there. We were here before you here this year in 2025, working on that process. This has been a long project for him. He has bought these properties that were 2 blighted homes. He has gone through the process of taking those down and demolishing them. So now it's just an unimproved area that is adjacent to what he owns as the Tillotson Plaza and has owned for many years. He's just wanting to square this property off so that it's all zoned the same. A lot of the zoning around this property is already zoned variety business. It's in that kind of corridor with restaurants, medical, as well as the Payless grocery store and there on Tillotson. So we're requesting the change from R5 residence zone to the BV variety business zone. And as was the last one, we were also given a 9-0 favorable recommendation by the planning commission.
Any other questions?
This is also good zoning. You took the property, your client took the properties down, and cleaned it up, kind of, got it where he wanted it to be. And it's, this is also, it just goes along with the good zoning too. And, I appreciate your client taking that effort to get those properties down. Me and my wife go to the store there every Sunday. So it looks a lot better. And it'll be nice to see, the future of that property, and just to thank your client for taking care of that property and getting those houses down. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Councilman Garrett. Appreciate your help on this.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of adoption?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 23-25? 24-25.
Ordinance 24-25, an ordinance of approval to amend the text of the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance regarding lot width, lot coverage, setbacks, and minimum floor area in the R1, R2, and R3 residence zones, and regarding accessory dwelling use in the R4 residence zone.
I move that we adopt or introduce ordinance 24-25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we introduce ordinance 24-25. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Council. Kylene Swackhammer from the Plan Commission. So the proposed changes before you to the City of Muncie Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance address some of the city's current needs for housing development. These amendments were developed and written by a committee comprised of Mayor Ridenour, Commissioner Brand, Jim Lowe, who's retired Associate Vice President for Facilities Planning and Management at Ball State, and myself. The goal is to update and modernize some of the requirements in the zoning ordinance to fit the current needs of the city. These are a few of the changes that we felt needed immediate attention in order to help a right now problem of needed housing. The current zoning ordinance was implemented in 1973, and in response to the current demand and need for quality housing, the committee proposes a few changes that are before you this evening. We feel the proposed changes will help address the following: the need for current housing by increasing opportunities for development, the need to use vacant land and/or the opportunity to address the physical decline of existing homes. We feel it aligns with current planning practices. It supports the priority to strengthen housing conditions and options discussed in the Together DM comp plan. And we feel this will help attract new development. I did email you a packet with a table that kind of outlines the general changes that we are proposing. And then I'm also respectfully asking to suspend the rules this evening and vote on this tonight.
Question?
So I want to know why you feel the need to have us suspend the rules tonight, why this would have to be voted on this evening.
So I am asking simply because I feel that some of these changes will help current development proceed. Some developers that are currently looking at areas, some lots that currently could be developed. I feel this would help that move along more quickly. I don't feel it needs to be decided this evening, but I'm just simply asking.
Yes.
So basically what I'm seeing, the changes in here are just reducing the setbacks, reducing the space between, or the spaces required between properties. Like for instance, changing from 100 feet to 40 feet, from 12,000 to 4,000, things along those lines. So it's just reducing and allowing tighter construction. Okay.
Yes, and a lot of the parcels within the city are currently 40 feet wide. A lot of them are grandfathered in and could be developed currently, but some of them are not, and this would help all of them be available for housing development.
Councilman Selby.
Okay, my question to you is, what is the intended purpose of permitting or redefining accessory dwelling units in the R4 residential zone, and who will benefit from these changes?
So currently in the R4 residence zone, an accessory dwelling unit has to have an approved special use variance. So it can be done. It just needs to go before the BZA. And we do sometimes see those variance asks. I think that these changes will help because in 1973, when the ordinance was created, there wasn't a lot of interest in people having an accessory dwelling. Now, I think the people that will benefit from this would be possibly, especially in the Ball State area, people putting an accessory dwelling on to rent it out, to provide more housing for students. Another thing we see is sometimes people positively have changed the way they want to live, and they want their family, they want to continue to live very close to their family. So they may want their aging parents to have a dwelling on their property. So I feel like that would help both generations, the older generation and the younger generation, be able to kind of live that way when they'd like to.
Thank you.
Yeah, that I really kind of mimic that. My mom was behind us. My father-in-law is a block over. My sister-in-law lives a block over. You've got family that's a phone call away. But I kind of spoke on it. These ordinances are kind of going down, but good zoning. Good zoning is not looking at something that the last time we dug into it was 1973. We have issues that we need to address now. The setbacks are awesome. I believe that really on the south side of town, that's going to help. We're not talking about boxing people in. We're talking about putting people closer together, creating community. The minimal flooring plan really helps too, as we have to realize that minimal flooring plan kind of reduces that rental rate. And that's what I am on the south side of town. We're a lot of rentals that reduces our rental rate. that drops kind of what it costs for them to come over and live in the south side of town, or, you know, any part of town. But this, I mean, you kind of covered it all. Mr. Lowe and Mr. Brand, this is a good one. R1, R2, R3, and R4. Great job. Mayor, great job. This is a zoning one that we should have done a long time ago. And I believe that that this will help tremendously on all sides of town. So thank you.
And just to add to that, our office is looking at updating the entire comprehensive zoning ordinances
Yes.
for the city and the county,
Yes,
because
that's
like you said,
great.
it's very
Thank
needed.
you. That's
It's-
awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, so hopefully, you all will be stakeholders in that process and be very involved in that process as well.
That's much needed. Thank you.
President?
Yes.
So when you put this together, I mean, do you look at other cities' codes? I mean, how do you come up with these numbers? Are you kind of looking at what other places are doing, or? And if so, I'm sorry, and if so, who might that be?
Yeah, so I did look at several other places in comparing. One of the very good zoning ordinances that I keep going back to is the city of South Bend. They redid their zoning ordinance several years ago. They actually won an award for it. I've heard the Plan Commission speak several times, doing workshops and such on their ordinances. They decreased their lot size quite a bit. It's actually under 40, but they decreased their lot size quite a bit. They minimized off-street parking, and they allowed ADUs zone in all the zones. They have reported that since they have done that, since the new zoning ordinance took effect in 2020, that their city has seen an increase in completed projects with considerably fewer variance requests. So it enables people to complete those projects easier. Also saves time for people that they don't have to go seek variance when it's kind of a procedural variance that normally gets approved.
Yeah, I know South Bend is doing a lot of good things, but I guess I still question rushing it without having a little more time just to like see what else is out there, which I know you gave
Yeah.
it to us in advance. I
And-
mean,
and-
not your fault, but I haven't looked that far much
Yeah.
into it.
And
So.
that's just an ask. Like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, not pressing.
Councilman Garrett.
That's a great question. That's a great question. Councilman Gill, that's a great question. But also the kind of coming from a zoning background, this and what South Bend did is kind of what we're trying to do now. It's that minimal code that we build off of. So this allows us to kind of build off of this to figure out what works better, what doesn't work better, where we can go or where we need to go back from. This is our first step of moving forward to be able to dive into our zoning in different areas, but without the variance. If you've ever been through a variance, you know that it's a very kind of tedious process that you got to go through. And if we can somehow take that away from the residents in these R1, R2, and R3 and R4s to make them move in or make builders come in to alleviate that process to allow renters to move in quickly and those projects to get done quickly and right. Because we do have a great building commissioner's office. They go out and they do those inspections from the floor up to the roof done. So this allows us to really dive in and to start actually to hear you say that to redo the zoning codes and all is phenomenal. That is something we needed to do a long time ago to bring us from 1973 to 2025. And this is the first step in the right direction.
I have my last question for you. Like, we've looked through the paperwork, we understand it. Most of us as council probably understand it completely or not completely. But could you summarize, like in two, or just give me 3 points or 2 if you want. Let's just do 2. How will these changes affect existing homeowners for the positive so that people are watching or listening? That way they can feel comfortable with doing all this.
I think one of the benefits to existing homeowners is that there would be some more development in their neighborhoods. There could be new houses being built in their neighborhoods. You see a nice new house come up in your neighborhood, and people want to take ownership in that, your neighbors see that, well, hey, they're doing some things there, and it makes, you know, everybody in that area want to improve their own property. I also think that it just kind of provides opportunities for kind of a mixture coming into the neighborhood. Not every house is going to be the same size, the same use, that type of thing. It's going to provide a little variety and a little bit of mixture in those neighborhoods that are established.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
That's good. Yeah, good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ordinance number 2425, all in favor? Or has it been,
Yeah, the motion right now, just introduce,
Yep.
correct?
I just want to, Dan Ridenhour, Mayor of Muncie, I just wanted to share, I appreciated the committee's input and the fact that the Planning Commission intends to do one. Now, this will take about 10 months to even get through the complete redo of the 1973 ordinances. But I will tell you that developers have said they have a real challenge. They look at us and when it's 100 feet, it's a real problem. And when you go to McKinley neighborhood, 90% of the lots are 40 by 120. When you go to South Central neighborhood, 90% of the lots are 40 by 120. When you go to Thomas Park, Avondale, most of those are in the 40 to 120. All this does is it makes it easier for those developers to use the infrastructure that's already in place, because the electricity, the sewer, the water, the gas, it's all right there at the street. It's a big advantage when they look at the guidelines. They go to the easiest place. So these developers, when they look at the guidelines and they see 100 feet, they think, I've got to buy 3 lots to build 1 house in McKinley, for example. And so that's why we got with the Planning Commission. We had the county involved. They have some adjustments that they'd like to make, which they'll do on their side. And then we had Jim Lowe, who has so much experience involved. And we just feel like this will give us an upper hand compared to the other cities, unlike South Bend, that haven't done this yet. And we've got the infrastructure there, and that's the biggest expense to housing development. You'll find that everywhere. Every city says it's putting in the infrastructure. We got to get the water out to where that infrastructure, to where these houses are going to go. We have all these lots, we have all these properties, we have all these opportunities in our neighborhoods in and around downtown. The Old West End, South Central, Thomas Park, Avondale, Industry, McKinley, all of these neighborhoods, Gilbert, they're all ready, ripe to go for a housing development, and it will build up those neighborhoods, which then builds up our city and provides the tax base that we'll need. As Ms. Powell mentioned earlier, we're looking with Senate Bill 1 as some reductions. And so we've got to come up with ways to set ourselves up in the future to where we have, this will take years for a bunch of houses to be built. Many of us will not be in these same positions those years that happens, but we've got to put those future organizations that run this city in a position to where they're a step ahead. We're not going to be a step ahead of South Bend, but we can be a step ahead of some other cities that are sitting back, waiting, saying, let's just see what happens. Maybe we can get it done. Variance board is not that big a deal. The challenge is most of these variances get approved, but it can be a 60-day process. And the developers don't want to mess with that if they can avoid it. If they can go somewhere else, if they can go to South Bend or some other city that's already made these upgrades. So I think Mr. Garrett makes a great point that this takes us from 1973 to 2025, and that's important for our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Jim Lowe, 2501 North Kensington Way. First of all, let me comment. Thank you for appointing Frank Scott II to our Ethics Commission. Excellent, excellent. Thank you. He'll be a great addition. Yes, he's about half my age, so he'll add some youth to the committee.
He said a quarter earlier.
And it could be pretty close to that. But anyway, as you know, I support this ordinance. And thank you to Kylene, the mayor, and Commissioner Brand for allowing me to serve with them, and with the intent to propose some immediate amendments to this. Let me, before I go through my script, let me tell you what, I'll answer your question, I think, Ro and Sarah. So I served on the Muncie Land Bank. We sold a lot of properties that could not be built upon. So what they did, they bought them and put gardens in, which are great, but there's no facility being built on those because of the restrictions that are in our R1 through the R4 zoning. And this will allow those places to, those vacant lots to establish a house, affordable house for people in those areas. So that would be my response to the need for this change. But anyway, as Kylene noted, it was over 50 years ago that these were established in 1973. And in early 1990s, I served on both the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. It was apparent then that our zoning ordinance should be revisited frequently for potential modifications to align with the needs of our current and future citizens in our community. So the point there being, this shouldn't be just a one-off. We should do this frequently to address where our community is going. And things have changed in our community. We've lost a lot of industry and so forth. So things have changed. But again, I support the requested amendments to the residential development standards regarding lot width, lot area, setbacks, floor area, accessory dwellings, as noted in Ordinance 2425. And I believe the changes will stimulate urban development and provide new housing opportunities while preserving our community character. So I ask you to support this. So any questions of me before I sit down? Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brand.
Good evening. Stephen Brand. I'm one of your 3 county commissioners. The reason I believe this is important, if we think about this long-term, and Councilwoman Powell talked about the losses of property taxes, we need to be able to replace that with a local income tax. And one way to not raise your local income tax is to grow the total payroll of the county. So we need to increase our population throughout the county, including inside the city of Muncie. If we can do that by stimulating housing, by making it easier for developers to build housing, that'll go a long way to Councilwoman Selby's question, how will current property owners benefit from this? If we can raise the total payroll of the county and raise more local income tax and not raise your local income tax, that will benefit those folks by not having to raise their tax. So I would ask you guys to approve this. And if you would consider suspending the rules, I would ask for that accommodation as well. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, for clarification, if I may, is it appropriate for us to vote on the ordinance first and then have a motion for suspension?
Yep, yeah, so you would need to vote on the introduction first, and then
That's
if
right.
somebody wants to make a motion to suspend the rules to adopt tonight, that would require a unanimous vote.
Thank you for that clarification.
Steve Craig, I just say that I also support it, but I don't support suspending the rules. And that's it. So I just think you should introduce it and wait a month. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, House Bill. Ordinance 2425. All in favor? Did we already do a motion? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same.
Mr. President,
Motion carries.
sorry. I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and vote again on this ordinance.
I second.
Second.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Can I- This motion to suspend the rules, we don't do it a lot, but this is, I was the structural and zoning inspector for right around 12 years for the city. We'd be in a far better place, I promise you, tax-wise, population-wise, school-wise, all that, if we had this. This might seem crazy to suspend these rules, but it will help. This should have been done a long time ago. And Mr. Lowe, to come back to you from to go back and to shop around, since 1973, that's a problem. We have not looked at this since 1973. A lot has changed. Our factories are gone. Our population is down. Ball State is 10 times bigger. We have one high school. We're fighting a losing battle of, population declining and trying to build our infrastructure back up. And this is a big part to help us build it back up, especially on the south side of town. And I think we don't think lightly when we suspend the rules, but I think this is something that we can, get this 10-month process rolling to help. That's just all I wanted to say. I kind of want to clarify for everybody that in my background, this is the right thing to do, not just for us, but for the city.
Mr. President.
Yes, Councilman
I'm
Gardner.
going to say yes. I think that these need to be updated, no doubt. There's no doubt that needs to be done, and for all the reasons that Mr. Garrett just talked about. But and I know, especially Jim, Kylene, you're experts in this. I am not, but I don't like the idea of just 1 more month just to kind of see what else is out there and make sure that it makes sense, compared to some other cities. That would be my only, that's my only reservation.
Councilwoman.
Respectfully, Councilperson Gullion, I think 3 days, nothing's gonna change, and the committee has worked so hard on it. Why wait 30 more days to get the ball rolling? I think it's imperative. These changes should have been done a long time ago. No blame, I'm not causing any blame. They would have benefited the city tremendously, and I think if we wait 30 days, another month, nothing will change. We will be reading the same amendment, or is it, let me think here, ordinance. The committee will still come up here and say the same thing and encourages us. So I think it would benefit the city as a whole if we suspend the rules, respectfully.
Yes.
To add my 2 cents, yes, I think that these things should be done. No, I don't feel like we should suspend the rules. You said, why would we wait? We will wait because the public was not made aware that we were acting on this tonight. And so there might be people who want to make comment or have input on the changes that we would be voting on. So I don't think it's good to not give people the opportunity to speak up. And especially since we were told there is no pressing issue that would require this to be acted on tonight. So that's where my vote will come from regarding the suspension of rules.
I do have a question. I will start with Commissioner Brand, if you could answer my question. So when you were in the meetings, you had experts there, right? And then when you were in the meetings, were those meetings open to the public, or?
So this came up at the Planning Commission meeting as well, and I would like to inform the council that it received a 9-0 favorable recommendation at the Planning Commission as well. But the meetings that the committee had were not necessarily public.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else? There's been a motion made and seconded that we suspend the rules for ordinance 25-24. 24-25. Voice vote.
Voice vote's fine.
Okay. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye. Nay.
We need to do a show of hands.
Roll call. Okay.
Okay. All in favor signify by raising your hand. All opposed?
Suspension.
Has to be unanimous, right?
Yeah, it had to be unanimous. So
Yeah.
it'll just be up for adoption at the next meeting.
Okay. Ordinance 2525.
Ordinance 25-25, an ordinance amending chapter 35, section 22 of the Muncie City Ordinance entitled Emergency Medical Services and Fees and Collection.
Okay, this ordinance seeks to amend the EMS fees and provisions related to the collection of EMS fees in response to House Bill 1385 that was adopted in 2024 and took effect January 1st, 2025. Anybody here to?
I make the motion to introduce ordinance 25-25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilperson Powell to introduce, seconded by Councilman Garrett. The chief.
You always come prepared, every time.
Good evening, Dan Burford. I'm the chief of the Muncie Fire Department. I had a little handout there for you that gives you some information on House Bill 1385 that was passed last year that changed EMS billing throughout the state. And that's really what kind of got this kick started that we need to look at. Obviously, you know, we started our EMS service, our transport service in 2019. A billing ordinance was put in place for that and then amended for the ALS also back in 21. Some of you were here when that happened, but we adopted what was the county's rate at the time and had been for a long time and had not had any adjustments to that for a long time. So a couple of the key things that we've done, if you look back at the previous ordinance versus the new one, we've added a couple things, and some of these were concerns that Councilperson Powell actually brought up to me after a visit with one of our fire stations, and some of that had to do with the care for falls, diabetic wake-ups that we do, Narcan administrations, things that we couldn't currently bill for. So we did add a treat no transport charge to our proposed ordinance here tonight. But it also has a mobile integrated health option to it. We have been working with the state of Indiana and we're approved for creation potentially of a mobile integrated health program here, which is more commonly referred to as community paramedicine. There's some grant opportunities through the state that we're looking into to help get this going. We're really just looking at, feasibilities at the moment. What that does, that allows us to send paramedics out to people's residences to visit them. Sometimes it's just for checks, check blood pressures, help them with medications, visits and just well-being, if you will. The biggest benefit for us to that is that we don't tie up transport ambulances going and visiting people that a lot of times are lonely or really just want somebody to come and reassure them. It's something that's big within the state of Indiana right now. There's a big push. There's a lot of help at the state level. And so it's something we really want to look into, but we also wanted to be able to recoup costs that would be incurred through that. So we wanted to put that on there. As you look farther back into the ordinance, you can see we've added some extra sections to this. One of the things that the changes were is that the state is allowing for a 400% billing, requiring insurance companies to pay at a 400% rate of Medicare. So when the figures were picked, that is what is presented as a rounded version to what is 400% of the Medicare rate. So if we don't have the option to do that, then we're just obviously leaving money on the table. But we didn't change is how our collections will work on the backside of that. But for the people within the city who are self-pay, those people that do not have insurance at all, they'll be billed at a 60% reduced rate. So the rate that they will pay will actually go down from what they're billed right now. So those people that can't afford insurance or don't have it for one reason or another, we're actually going to reduce some of that. So we saw an opportunity, to adjust our billing and come right with what's happening within the state of Indiana now and across the country, but also to provide some relief to the people that aren't. Then also, if you look at F on there, it allows for people to petition to the fire chief if they cannot pay their bill for some reason. That's not something we had before. We had no means for anybody to petition. We've granted that in this as well.
That's cool.
Then it has the mobile integrated health aspects on it and how those will be billed.
Yes.
I appreciate you bringing up the 60% reduced rate because I was looking at these and some of these fees are going up by almost $1,000.
Correct.
And so you are trying to capture as much money as an insurance company will allow you to bill. Is that what we're saying?
That is
Long
correct. That was
story
why the
short?
House bill was actually initiated originally, was the fact that insurance providers were not paying at collected rates, even at ours. So they said, hey, look, we're going to mandate that you're going to pay at these rates and not stick those expenses onto the patients themselves. And so they put the rule in, the 400% rule. Now, there are still negotiated rates through insurance companies. We are under contract with, say, Anthem, which is our largest collecting service now. And Anthem, right now, under their contract that we would like to renegotiate with them, they actually pay less than Medicare rate. Now, the state said you will pay at 400%. They've challenged it, and that's still kind of tied up in litigation as far as I know right now. But so it doesn't guarantee that we're even going to collect more money off of our insurance, our insured individuals. It gives the opportunity for that if they're not in network with your city.
And I want to get a really good understanding of this because what I don't want to do is pass legislation, pass an ordinance that creates financial hardship for our
Absolutely.
community.
That's not our intention.
And then, again, may I ask? You said you will allow people to contact you if they can't pay their bill. Are those insured people or are they not? And if you start taking lower payments for insured, will that cause issue with the insurance company saying, wait a minute, you have negotiated a price outside of what we've agreed upon, and we're going to go back and take money that we've given you before? There's all those mixed, moving parts. I'm just curious. I don't want to set us up for having someone go and ask.
Well, the way our billing works currently is insured people, we collect what the insurance provides.
Okay.
So
There's a copay.
those people shouldn't be coming to us asking in all reality. So really it was to help those self-pay people,
Okay.
who could not.
And then one more thing for tonight, just for clarification, the treatment non-transport that you said I'd asked about, it was actually, these are all very, very used things that our EMS workers do.
Absolutely.
But I think Councilperson Gullion and I had just asked about the lift carry, where we have different organizations and facilities which are using our employees to lift patients that have fallen off the floor, thereby putting our patients at an opportunity, at a risk for injury while sparing their employees. And so that was what we had asked about, because that would have been a free service without transport. And we were trying to close that gap.
Correct. And that will fall in to the treatment transport.
And that's
Correct.
fine. I just wanted to clarify to the public that I did not ask for fees to be added to these. other
Yes, I'm
things
sorry.
like
It was
Narcan
discussions we had that
and
led us
that I
to
feel
add
are
that
very important,
line.
but I don't feel that. I don't
I'm
want to
sorry if it
contribute
came across that
those
way.
fees too much to me because
I like how you threw my name in there too, though.
I did. We did not ask about that. So.
Mr. President, am I correct that the county made these changes earlier in the years and this closely aligns with
Yes,
the
they did.
changes that
They
they made?
updated them. We were in conversation with them at the time that we were working on ours and they were working on theirs.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
This might not even go along with what we're proposing, but, all right, Jason, is the body good with these changes? Have you guys been notified and, kind of all right with what's going on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jason Chapin, President Local 1348. Yeah, this is something we as Local 1348, we've asked for kind of, how government works slow. And, we want to make sure these are written right before we bring them to you guys. So this is something we've been asking for quite a while because we knew that House Bill 35, what the chief just gave you guys, we tracked that last summer. We saw that pass. We saw the opportunity there to bring in more revenue from the insurance companies, which again, we don't ask for copays. What the insurance company pays us is what we get. And at the same time, reduce that rate for our non-payers. That was something that Anderson does really successfully in their program. I used to work in Anderson way back in the day. You're much more likely to get a bill paid if it's something that someone can pay. If it's $100 bill, I might be able to swing that. But if it's a $900 bill,
Mhm.
that's 2 months rent. I can't pay it.
Right.
Take me to collections. You're not getting your money. You know, so I mean, lowering the cost for uninsured, it, you know, has the opportunity to bring in more revenue than we are now because we're writing off so much now for the uninsured. So by lowering that to 60%, we'll hopefully make a bill that comes in the mail, something that can possibly be affordable for some of the people that get a big bill.
And kudos to you guys that you're lowering the non-insured and going after what we can get for the insured. And that's exactly what we should do as public servants. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Be up. Big support.
Preservation.
Yes, Mr. Green.
Chief Burford, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I noticed it in section F that you alone are the one that will hear hardship cases. Do you feel that that may be a little overwhelming to you with your other duties? Should you bring someone alongside to help you in making these decisions and working through that?
When you look at the number of self-pay people we have in the city, it's relatively small percentage.
Okay.
Majority of our transports are Medicare, Medicaid, and that's a vast majority. We're over 70% now, 36 and 38 respectively between them. So the number of people that would apply to this is extremely small, but it very well could be. I mean, honestly, everybody that gets a bill may want to write a letter of petition. So it may not be a bad idea to say the chief or his designee, you know, in all reality. We just also didn't want a ton of people being inundated and, you know, a ton of channels, if you will, for those.
So would you be okay if we change the wording?
Yeah, I would not be opposed to
Incorporate
that. In fact, I mean, this is our introduction. So one of the things I do encourage is that if you have questions, if you'll email those to me, and not that I'll just to answer them in private, but we can discuss them next month. But, you know, if you give that way, I can have the relative information for you and we can discuss all those questions before you guys take a final vote on this.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilperson Selby.
Thank you. Question for you, Chief. So it took you how many years to revisit the fees?
This is the first time that we've actually
In
revisited
how many years?
our fees in 5 years.
In 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
The ordinance was actually put in, I believe, if
I
you look
get
at the other one, it was 21, where there was just a change because of the ALS.
Yeah.
You know, so we
Yep,
needed an
that's
agreement for that one.
okay, so my question to you is, how often will EMS fee be reviewed going forward?
Oh,
Will there be a process?
I would be happy to put a process in place. We discuss it within our department, at least in the 3 years that I've been part of the administration. We've discussed this every year. So sometimes it's discussion, you look at, okay, is this a good time? Is this not? What I discussed with several other chiefs around currently that they're looking into is basically since the law had changed and uses Medicare as its standard, that potentially we could look at saying, we'll just set our rates at potentially 400% or 4 times the Medicare rate. And then that would actually just, you'd be able to carry on as Medicare makes their changes. We could make those changes immediately. But I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but you know, for where we are right now, we wanted to set those rates specifically.
Okay, so you said you discuss it. Is there a chance you can do an actual review and for the data and the changes instead of waiting that long? Because you know how it is with the healthcare. Everything gets expensive and we don't want you guys to fall behind the ball. I do have another question. You did mention, I did not hear you clearly, or I did not understand what you said. Did you say you were changing your third-party billing services or no?
No,
We're
no,
not.
we're under contract with a company called MedBill.
Medbill. And do you think they handle those billing and, being outsourced? Are they aggressive about it? Do they address concern about?
They do an
Innovative.
extremely good job.
They do.
Yeah, they're very good to
They're-
work with.
And they're
They
fair?
provide us with a lot of information.
Okay.
And in fact, Delaware County EMS uses them, Eaton EMTs.
And you're happy
Incorporated
with them?
just
They're
switched
very
to MedBill.
transparent. Okay.
And they're a wonderful company to work with.
Councilperson Powell.
Just one follow-up question. I don't know if you have that information tonight or if you could just email it to us in regards to using the new fee schedule. How much revenue do you see, even looking back to last month, how much of an increase in revenue would the department see using these new fee schedules?
I would hate to give you a number standing here tonight,
I don't,
but I would be happy
I
to
don't
go
expect-
back through and do a
yeah, if you
review.
could just
Like I said,
email us one.
originally there was some talks of of some money, and I know Delaware County EMS stood to make a greater, it had greater impact on their returns because they have such a high rate of private insurance.
And I understand it will
So,
be
but I can
hard
look through what our current
Kinda like
payer
a
mix
ballpark
is.
estimate of-
Yeah, I can look through our current payer mix,
Thank you.
and that's something that Medville will actually help us with and we can run through. So absolutely, I can do that.
Yes, Councilman Goya.
I've got a question, Chief. I'm looking at the nice little breakdown you have of 1385 here for us.
Mhm.
And it, mentions the 400% of the published Medicare base rate.
Mhm.
Whereas in this ordinance, it just specifies the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, does it make more sense to reword it so that it says 400% of whatever so that then we don't have to come back every time if Medicare, we know
Yeah, that's what I
things are
said.
changing.
I would be happy to entertain that. I think that's a great idea. If that's what the council would prefer, I'm not going to argue with you about that. I think that would be a phenomenal way to do that. We've been working on this for a long time and we had it together and we wanted to introduce. That's what's nice about the introduction. Gives us an opportunity to discuss those things and for you guys to make those amendments if you see fit.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Perfect. Any other questions?
I just want to say, Chief Burford, I think for all of us up here, it's phenomenal. Your response back, to work with you and your department is very, it's easy. And it's very, both sided, and it's a great way to work with, how you bring what you have and how you work with us in your introductions and all that. So, thank you. It makes it a little bit easier. And you know how open you are. I don't think I've ever called you once you not answered your phone. So I appreciate that and what you bring to us and the knowledge you bring to you answer a lot of our questions. So thank you.
Thank you. We try and we appreciate working with you guys. You guys are pretty good at shooting out emails with questions and concerns of things that are going on. So we're here to work with you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I said one other thing to say. I believe, just on the date wise, when we copied and pasted the ordinance in 2019 from the county to the city when we started our service, I believe that ordinance was 2014. So I believe our rates are currently 11 years old. So thanks, guys.
Okay, ordinance number 2525. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carried. Resolutions. Resolution number 14-25.
Resolution 14-25, a resolution confirming resolution 13-25, declaring an economic revitalization, however you say that word, area and waiver of certain requirements for Muncie Hotel Partners LLC, qualifying certain proposed real property for tax abatement and approving payments in lieu of tax agreement. Hate that word.
Okay, this resolution seeks to confirm the council's actions from last month that declared the property upon which a new hotel is being constructed in the village as an economic revitalization area for purposes of providing a tax abatement. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Matt Anger from Ice Miller. I'm here representing Muncie Hotel Developers, the developer, Muncie Hotel Partners, the developer on this project. As you just mentioned, we were here last month to introduce the declaratory resolution, and we're at the Tax Abatement Committee meeting earlier this evening. As I mentioned at both meetings, this is really a cleanup of the resolution that the council heard and approved last year, approving the pilot agreement. Approving the pilot agreement with the city for this hotel project. Maybe one piece that we didn't discuss earlier tonight. I think the reason that we had to come back this year for this resolution, I think there might have been an assumption that the project wasn't a subject to property tax, since Ball State currently owns the property, but since it is being leased to a developer, that's what creates the potential taxability of the parcel, which is why we're here asking for the abatement to align with the pilot agreement that was already approved of last year by by the council. One question that was asked earlier this evening was the compensation or employment projections for the project. I didn't have information at the committee meeting. I don't have all of the facts with me tonight, but I did get some information that of the estimated 50 employees, 65% are anticipated to be full-time employees, 35% part-time employees, and all full-time employees should be benefit eligible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.
But certainly happy to answer any other questions.
When you say benefit eligible, what are those benefits?
I don't think that's been identified yet, but traditional benefits, healthcare, insurance.
Healthcare would be part of it.
I would anticipate that, yes. But quite frankly, one of the other questions was what's a potential wage structure? And they haven't determined wage structure or benefits. So I'm speaking a little bit out of term, but I do anticipate that traditional healthcare benefits would be applied.
Thank you for working hard on getting that.
Absolutely.
That's good news.
Councilman Garrett.
Of the 65%, I mean, they're most definitely going to be competitive wages in that field, correct?
I would
Okay,
certainly,
thank you.
I
Yep.
think they would need to be,
Yep.
otherwise
Yep.
they won't have
Yep.
65%
Thank you.
workforce.
And then with the 65% would be over 40 hours though, correct, with the full-time?
Full-time.
Yep, thank you.
Councilman McIntosh.
I noticed you didn't state whether it would be union or local. You don't know that part yet.
I don't. And it's, and I appreciate the question. And the reason that I'm here tonight and not the developer themselves is that we were here more on the procedural element, and that's what I specialize in. So it's not as if they don't want to provide the information. The person that gave me the facts that I just shared with you reached out to the person that would have the information about union, non-union, but that I just didn't get a response.
And not only non-union or union, I also want local.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Councilman Garrett.
I've drove by, I've seen 3D out there, which is local. I'm doing a lot of work too. I don't know about the union or anything like that, but I've seen a lot of 3D trucks out there and all that. So I know for a fact that there's at least one local contractor working there. So.
Mr. President, I will repeat, thank you. I will repeat what I said in the tax abatement committee, that the past council asked Ball State to bring everybody together and create a workshop and have a list of all the local contractors, small businesses. They opened that workshop. I went to it personally, to anybody who's interested in the project. They explained the project, their needs. So they did do their due diligence to open it up to everyone. And I was there, and it was a great presentation. They even had it online too, the presentation, and I think it's still online. So if you wanna research, it's on the Ball State website.
Any other questions?
Mayor, I kind of got a question if you can answer it. With the property there, how many, it'll come, sorry. How many, after I answer, sorry, how many properties right now in developments of Ball State that are we generating the tax revenue that we're going to generate from this hotel?
Dan Ridenhour, Mayor of Muncie. I don't know that I can answer that exactly, but there are very few
That's what
properties. I don't want to say zero, but there are very few properties that the city of Muncie receives tax revenue on. And I will say in the very beginning of this process, Mr. Lowe might have even been a part of it. I'm trying to remember who was in the original meetings, but I know President Mearns was. I said, the city would love to help, but we don't receive property tax revenue. And so there's got to be a private developer. This was early on, 21, 22, and they brought in a private developer. And so that private developer and this hotel is a private development. So we're looking forward as a city to having some participation from this and future developments. In fact, the housing that they're putting in will also be taxable. And many of us who are up there right now, including myself, were at that ribbon cutting, and every single one of those houses, once they're built, and those townhomes will be taxable. So all those things similar to what I said earlier. All those things are setting up future councils and future mayors and future city residents with a better position than we are currently in. And to me, that's the best place that we can put things. If we make things better, not worse, but better, then we are helping the future generations, of which I have grandkids here. I have children here. So that's important to me. So did you have a question?
I had a comment.
Just
Not-
nodding your
I'm
head.
sorry,
Okay.
I didn't mean to.
So I don't know the exact answer, Mr. Garrett, but I know 0 or close to 0.
That
would
opens
be
up
the
a total another partnership that we've never had before, though.
Yes.
What we're doing right now. And I don't want to speak on Ball State because a lot of people know that's a state entity. They don't have to pull building permits. They do. They allow our building commissioner office to go in there and get our building permit fees and our assessment fees and all of that. So I appreciate all that, but that opens up, that's what I wanted to say. This opens up a partnership that we've never had before that I think that we can benefit from a lot. So thank you.
So, and I will say with Ball State, I have been very, very pleased with how accommodating they've been and the partnerships that we've developed, not just with this development, but with parks. We've got now 2 parks that they've been a part of. So I'm very pleased with the relationship with Ball State, and I understand the value of our largest employer.
Yes, thank you.
I just want to also, sorry,
No, go ahead.
say that this hotel is not owned by Ball State, that this is private, period. But I understand it's
Well,
like
they're
part of
leasing
the
the
Ball
land.
State's village development, right? So to make that clear to the public, yeah.
So they're leasing the land, correct?
Yeah, it has
Okay.
not been taxable in the past.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Salve.
Yes, there were some concerns also in the public about how it would affect the schools. I did mention this in the tax abatement committee, and for transparency reasons, I will share it now so it's part of the public record again and people know about this. I contacted Dr. Chuck Reynolds and asked him a few questions and asked him to share a couple sentences about his feelings about this project. And his response was, as the CEO of Muncie Community Schools, I support the proposed new hotel project on the Ball State University campus. We believe this project will contribute to the continued growth and revitalization of our community, which directly benefits our students and families. We have reviewed the official documents, including the Statement of Benefits and Resolution 1325, and are confident this project aligns with the long-term interests of the school district and the city of Muncie. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions from the audience or concerns?
Again, third time's going to be the charm or the strikeout, and I feel the strikeout because you don't seem to realize, oh, I forgot Rick Jensen, newsman and author, that again, without local labor, union labor, I don't care how much money this hotel is going to bring, it's going to have a significant impact on other hotels and hospitality properties. And I'll change the channel a bit because you don't seem to care about local labor, or that you're giving a tax break to somebody, and I'll read right out of the resolution. This isn't about how this benefits the community. It's about that they didn't file a statement of benefits last year. And I don't care what you call it, a waiver, they broke the law, whatever. They're coming back and asking you again after the fact, before the fact, which the law says they have to get the benefit before, not after. And again, this developer, he isn't here. He makes his money in Indy. And again, if he's not going to use local labor, what does it matter anyway? But again, it's very clear that this hearing tonight was about his failure to comply with the law. Now let's change the channel to taxes and taxpayers. Anytime you give a tax break to anybody, that's going to impact everybody else. And I think you all know, you probably heard it, that taxes went up big time this year. It was more because the base assessment every 5 years goes up. Land, houses, businesses, farms, they all went up. Taxpayers are tired of seeing tax breaks for the rich and again, not helping the average working people. So you do what you want in this community because again, Ball State's taken millions off the tax rolls. Now they're trying to put it back, but I'm still kind of wondering about higher education these days, why they're in the housing business or the hotel business. Because again, like I'll tell you, like I told the committee, in the last generation, labor unions supported and they built Emmons Auditorium back in the 60s before Ball State became a university. Now, all that money goes away. So just think about it. And again, the people that were union people, God help you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
did we have a motion and second on this resolution? We have not.
That's it.
I'd like to move that we adopt resolution 1425. Did we?
Yes.
I don't think we did. I think we just lurched right into
We did not.
discussion.
We did not.
Okay, I'd like to move that we adopt resolution 1425.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's made by Mr. Basham that we adopt the resolution, seconded by Councilman Garrett. Roll call.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, resolution number 15-25.
Resolution 15-25, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie establishing a committee to study the development of the community center to replace the former South Madison Community Center.
I'll make a recommendation to adopt this.
I'll second that.
Mr. President, I'd like a moment, if I may.
Yes.
This is something that we have been pushing for quite a few years, even before this council was voted in. This is a project that I have been pushing for, that we needed. We had a meeting at the Parks Department at Heacon Park, I believe it was last fall, and you attended, Mr. McIntosh attended, and we tried to discuss that night a little bit. I know at that time you were not for it because you said there was no money for it, but I talked with Mr. McIntosh, and he was in agreement that this is something that we needed to do. And as I look through this, I agree wholeheartedly we need to do this. But I'm greatly upset the Southside Neighborhood Association is not in it. And I want this thing changed. I would like Southside Neighborhood Association put in their president, Courtney Marsh, added to the role of this, because this is something that we need. All the other neighborhoods currently have a place to meet. We meet at different locations now because we don't have a permanent home. And those of the Muncie Southside Neighborhood Association would really like to see a permanent place. And we're very much in support of this. But I would like to make sure that this is amended and she's put in this.
Yeah.
Make a motion to amend.
I'll second that.
Okay. There's been a motion made to amend resolution 14-25. 15-25. To include the Southside
Neighborhood Association. Yes, their president.
Okay. Before we do that.
Hold on real quick. I just want to make sure
Okay.
procedurally, we have a motion to amend. Was there a second for that?
I second that.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't we go ahead and vote on the amendment? And then moving forward, there's an understanding of what we're talking about.
Okay, there's a motion made by Councilman Green, seconded by Councilman Garrett. I made a motion by McIntosh, seconded by, was it Garrett?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I submitted that. Oh, South Central. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mr. Green, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. However, we had included South Side. As a matter of fact, Bill and I thought that each neighborhood abutting that community center, Industry, South Central, South Side, and Blaine all have representatives on that board. So I apologize for not having that in the,
Thank you. We got it corrected.
resolution.
That's what matters.
But yes, we had included them.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilman Zell.
I do have a question. Is Morningside part of that negotiation? If not, I would like to make an amendment to include them too. Or would that be? It's a community center, the more people involved, especially if there's gonna be,
It's a community center.
yes. And the need is great there for the youth of Morningside to have somewhere to, also, and the senior citizens, not just, there's a high population of senior citizens that are lonely and, and I think it would benefit the Morningside tremendously if we include them, because a lot of times I feel like that's like not paid very much attention to.
Well, we thought going into this, a community center, we were more concerned with the communities surrounding that center
Okay.
than, that's an awful long way for them to travel. I mean, I don't have a problem with including them, but, it was originally thought that it would better serve the neighborhoods that surround that particular area where they want to build.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a youth center, so why would they not want to come over there when it's open? I mean,
I didn't say they were not coming over. I said
Oh,
just to include them, you know what I mean? Like senior citizen, include it in the discussions. No, that's fine.
no, I was
Just
trying to
a suggestion.
clarify.
Thank you.
I don't have a problem with it.
I was just trying to clarify.
Thank you.
If you want to make an amendment to include Morningside, I'll make the motion.
I make a motion to include Morningside and at a later date, appoint a representative, please.
Second.
I would recommend as part of that, just changing section 2 to the
Yeah.
number of individuals
Mhm.
to 7.
Thank you.
If you're gonna add,
Yes,
I should have done it first time,
I thought we had it at 7. Would we have it at 5?
but it's at 5. Currently, but you've added the Southside Neighborhood Association, you're adding Morningside. I think the next amendment should include Morningside, but also change the language. There being 7 individuals.
Okay. Okay, the motion's been made. Was there a second?
Second. Jerry seconded.
Jill seconded. Motion was made that we amend the resolution to include Morningside and also to increase the board members on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you've essentially done it, but it's just changing the
Right.
language to make it 7,
Okay.
correct?
Okay, roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. How were we at?
So now we need a
Now you need a
motion
motion to
to vote for
approve
the
as
amended.
amendment.
Now we need a motion to
Yes,
approve the-
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll
second.
second
That motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution
as amended.
As amended.
as amended. second?
I did, I'm sorry.
You got it. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Councilman Powell. Roll call.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Ms. Selby.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Ms. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Garrett.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Basham.
Yes.
President.
Yes.
This kind of regarding the last ordinance, the 15-25. You saw us going back and forth with trying to cover the whole area and the whole, don't get enough credit. I think we need to give you a round of applause. You got put in this for the work you do. No.
Yes.
On the south side of town and everybody over there. We appreciate you. You are diehard and thank you.
She makes us rebel proud.
Rebel proud, Courtney. Rebel, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, can we move on now? Okay. Mr. Roger Overby.
All right.
Good evening, council.
Oh, good evening.
You've done some improvements since I've been here.
Yeah, the chairs are nicer.
Yeah, the desk and everything looks good. Really good. As you know, my name's Roger Overby. I'm representing Morningside neighborhood. And I've been in here before. I've wore many hats, business owner, video production, communications director, board of works, set up here on the council. I'm telling you that because you know that I know how it feels to be up there. And the reason I'm here as the vice president of Morningside neighborhood. In our neighborhood, that's kind of placebo titles because we're all worker bees. We hit the ground and running, and we roll up our sleeves and try to get things done there. I'm going to do something a little different. Setting up there where you've sat before, I know that a lot of people think, well, we got a problem and you can wave a magic wand and make it go away, and it don't always work that way. We have problems in Morningside. It's a neighborhood that a lot of the streets are named after Ivy League colleges, and there's not a lot of high education there. There's a lot of people that work hard and try to make a living, and it's not a real high economic neighborhood, but we have our issues. But I gotta say, and I came here to hand out some compliments. Back not too awful long ago, after Mayor Ridenour got in office, we don't always agree on everything. And in government, if you agree on everything with everybody, there's a problem. There's something wrong there. But Mayor Ridenour answered the call, came to our meeting, and helped us financially with some things, helped get more equipment in the neighborhood, park. That's the focus. We don't have a community center. Thank you, Ms. Selby, for that. We have a park that is centrally located. A lot of people don't know where it's at. But that's where we meet. That's where the kids go to play. And we've had our issues there. We have a lot of vandalism. We got some cameras with our ARP grant, and we need some help with street department or parks department, lift truck, getting them up on poles. The last cameras was there was about this high, and that was a focus of attention to vandalize them first. And we tried to find out who monitors these cameras. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And so they're gone. They're tore up. So we got new cameras. We want to put them up high on a pole short of shooting them off, which that wouldn't surprise me in Morningside, we'll have cameras and see what's going on there. But we do have a lot of vandalism. We're trying to get more help with the mowing there. We've had a lot of complaints on that. I have addressed some issues recently, and I want to say Ms. Selby and my buddy, Councilman Dishman, has been there a lot helping out. Not your district anymore, Jerry, but you've been there a lot and helped out with events and things that's going on. Ms. Selby, you've been there a lot of times with boots on the ground, helping out with events and our serve projects and doing work. And we appreciate that. We do. You've helped get some problems solved. We have the ditch problem, which I don't know if that'll ever be solved because everybody keeps pointing at each other and saying, it's not my job. But hopefully they'll get solved because there's literally driveways of people's houses that's sinking into that big ditch down Harvard. And Commissioner Brand has been there and listened to our issues. We appreciate that. When Mr. Basham heard that we had some issues, got a hold of me right away and said, hey, how can I help with this? We've got Canadian thistles, which is an invasive, really destructive plant that is needs to be eradicated. It's growing all up and down the creek there, and that's an issue. We've got on Dartmouth, branches going out into the street, almost halfway across the street in places.
Mr. Overby, we want to stay within our 3-minute range.
Okay,
and
I'm
it's
sorry.
Getting late in the hour.
But anyway, we have these issues and the sign we talked about. So again, those folks that has been there to help us, we really appreciate that. And we have meetings. We have a meeting this Saturday at 5 o'clock. And anybody on the council that would like to come into our meeting and see what's going on in our neighborhood, because as Ms. Selby says, we don't get a lot of attention in our neighborhood. And we would like to have you there. And it don't matter what district you're in, at large, whatever, we welcome you there and we welcome any help you can render. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Charles Jameson, my favorite.
I'll be quick. Good evening, council.
Evening.
I have three concerns, actually two concerns, and one very enthusiastic suggestion that was unsolicited by anyone. First off, on my way over here tonight, I drove past the old Chevy plant. It looks terrible. Looks terrible. And I don't know, I could be wrong here, but it doesn't look like anything has been done since the solar project kind of went flop. It looks overgrown. It's an eyesore. And when you look at the Ross Community Center ballparks and the row houses of nice apartments, that whole area has really seen a lot of nice improvements. And then there's this. I mentioned this to Councilor Garrett ahead of the meeting, so I'm not blindsiding anybody. But I sent some photos to him, and that I think that tell that story.
Yeah.
So anything you can do to
Yep.
to get this done and get this mowed, or it may take more than a mower.
Yeah, we're looking at bush hog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other is a concern I raised to the Muncie Redevelopment Commission last month, and that is Store Estates. Again, another what's turning out to be a very beautiful area. New homes, freshly paved roads, a beautiful park. But there's no designated parking. And I think I exchanged messages with the mayor about that, and he's said there's some agreement with the church that's nearby But that doesn't really answer the problem, especially for when you start thinking in terms of ADA. And I don't know how we got that park and housing complex developed without parking. But what's been happening is cars have been parking on the street. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't. Pray to God it doesn't. But some little kid's going to jump out of the car and run across the street and get hit.
3 minutes.
My third point, and I'll be quick. This is, I noticed this evening, I'm not sure why, it was hard to hear out here, but there was no citizen recognition tonight. And so I'm gonna make a suggestion for one. And I don't know that we've ever done that, but all you can do is say no. There's a young man that has been giving of his time, his money, to make our city look better. And he's been painting over graffiti and repainting over graffiti. And it's been such a heartbreak for him to do all that work only to see his work undone. And so I don't know whose turn it is, but I would heartily recommend Jeremy Coons receive that Citizen of the Month award. So I don't know who's next, but you might make a note of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judith Hill.
Judith Hill, Whiteley neighborhood. I got a question about safety. Since 32 East has been blocked off and the traffic has been rerouted, Bush Boulevard, it's just, it's been a death there. It's been 2 more wrecks that cars have been totaled that I know of. Because once they get there, and the traffic coming from the Martin Luther King around that curve, the cars, and they back up from Bunch Boulevard, trying to get on to Broadway. Well, not Broadway now, but Martin Luther King. I was just wondering, and I know that Anderson was doing work on 32, going to Anderson, and they had traffic. They ended up with where it was real dangerous, they had a temporary stoplight put up. Because the way it's going, when you come across Weiser, the bridge into Martin Luther King, it's kind of like a hill you can't see. Those cars coming around, nobody knows when to get out into the traffic. And I don't want to see any more people die when there's something could be done about this traffic. And there's going to be more accidents there. And I don't think they thought about this when they rerouted all that traffic around Bunch Boulevard to go out into Martin Luther King, right at McCullough Park. Cars coming out of there, cars coming across the bridge, cars coming around. So nobody knows, and it's going to be, but I was just concerned to keep somebody else from dying.
They've since opened Jackson Street.
Is it open?
It's open 1 lane now, so you'll see a reduction in traffic coming through Bunch, around Bunch to McCullough Boulevard. Yeah, they do have Jackson Street open now. It's 1 lane, but it's.
Well, that'll make a difference because even all the way around that River Road going into Bunch, it was a mess, the traffic. But when that boy got killed there, it should have been a wake-up call for something.
Okay, thank you. Point taken.
Troy Walters.
I'll hold off till next month on what I originally come up for, but something Brandon mentioned, you was talking about the union contractors. 3D, as far as I know, they're still signed on. If they're working on a project, that company will be using union because they're signed off with all the trades unions. I
Thank
just want to throw that in there, but
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ralph Privet.
Hello, name's Ralph Privet, live at 2905 North Westward Road. I'm the vice president of the Granville Neighborhood Association. And I was here 2 months ago to talk about the code for parking, no parking in your yards, things like that. And I've since been informed that maybe this is a issue to get that amended. I'm told by code enforcement that they can't enforce it anymore, that they sent it back to city council to be amended. I've since been told by somebody else that maybe this is a land and traffic problem. So I'm just here tonight to request that the president, Mr. Mason, call a land and traffic meeting next month.
Okay.
So we can see if that's the case. This is a code. I don't think it's an ordinance. I think it's a code, or according to my paperwork here, it's the Muncie Housing Code of 2002. I don't know if this is, as far as I know, it's not been updated since then. That's where your parking explanation is, that you can't park in your front yard. You can park out by the road in the right of way. You can park side of your house. You can park in your backyard. Can't park in the front yard. We've got boats in the front yard. We've got trucks in the front yard. We've got subcontractors that put 30-foot trailers in their driveway and park 1 ton, 3/4 ton truck in their front yard. I know, Mr. McIntosh, you said last time you had the same problem.
Yeah, we're,
This is becoming more and more of a problem because people are learning. We used to have vehicles that would have expired license plates, flat tires set for 3, 4, 6 months. You could call code enforcement, it'd come out and tag it. Well, they quit doing that a little over a year ago. They said they couldn't enforce it. Well, this year they're saying they can't even enforce parking in your yard, even though we've got a clear code here that says you can't park in your yard. They said it's not enforceable, that they sent it back to city council to be amended. And I've since heard that maybe it's not actually city council, it may be land and traffic.
Okay, so what area was that again? 2002 North Granville?
Oh, no, 2905 North Westwood Road. It's in the Granville neighborhood.
Yeah, I know you.
who told you that it was, that they couldn't enforce it? Was that the building inspector or a building, or?
I've been told that. I've called 4 or 5 times and I've been told that by whoever answers for code enforcement. Actually, I was told that before Mr. Sylvie retired from there. He did tell me, because I called him and told him that, you know, your code enforcement people are telling me that they can't enforce these codes. He said, unfortunately, we can't. Something about the wording in it, they sent it back. They said to city council to be amended.
We didn't vote on that. We have not. I don't remember.
Your smaller neighborhoods, your lower income neighborhoods have the bigger problem with this because you have subcontractors that bring in their equipment, park in the driveway, and then put trucks in the yard and stuff. And there's a lot of rentals.
I haven't, and I don't remember us voting on that. And our code is on the road, police department, in your yard or grass areas, that the building commissioner can tag those. So.
They tell me they can't do it.
I think a lane and traffic meeting works great. We can get to the bottom of that, figure out that code and get that, make sure that we get those enforced. I think that's good. That way we can work with the building commissioner's office and figure out what's going on and make sure we get out and get those enforced.
Yeah, code enforcement actually told me to call the non-emergency police number and ask for traffic, I don't know, something.
Yeah, those are on the road, but what?
The guy answered. I told him what I called for, and he said, well, we're really busy right now. Just call back another time.
No.
I agree with him. No, police have more important things to do. We need to get this amended so that code enforcement can do their job.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that Ball State Police write those? Yeah.
No.
Code enforcement. They told me they can't do that anymore. And I've called several times. They tell me they can't do it.
Yeah, the lane and traffic. In that, yep. Yep.
Sounds like a good, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a good solution, yeah.
The thing they told me, I've been messing with this mess, and I was just told last week, because I got them right there next door to me. And they're saying as long as the gravel's there or they got it parked on their gravel, they can't do anything. So they wanted me to get upset with them and stuff, and I'm like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to get you guys to just tag it. So it'll be a land traffic.
Yeah, they're probably they're residential areas, and there shouldn't be industrial trailers there, but even if you can't,
You want a
still,
derby? You want a derby? Come over Southside Town. You'll see a derby. They're all over.
they
the
could
yard.
solve that problem by parking their vehicles anywhere but their front yard.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they tear up the yard. They just tear up the yard. They pull them big trailers through there. They tear up their neighbors' yards at the corners of the roads and stuff.
We'll get the Land and Traffic Committee to look into that.
Thank you.
Now, do you run, will that be advertised or do you just?
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be just like the meeting was, the tax abatement meeting was. Yep, it'll be advertised just like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher Barber.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Barber. I think I'm in Minnetrista now. I just moved back to the country recently, so I was teaching abroad. But I want to raise your attention to an issue I've noticed with the intersection in front of my house. That's the intersection of Wheeling and Bethel. It is a fairly dangerous intersection. I've noticed, didn't take me long to notice, that the bus stop in front of my house, I found out later there's a bus stop across the street that does not have a sign. So it's a secret bus stop for people in the club, I guess. But the bus stop on my side of the street is directly opposite from, there's a smoke shop, there's the laundromat, there's a Culligan, all of these things, right? There's a diner, catty corner to it, all of this. So plenty of reasons a pedestrian might want to cross. And there's no markings, no signs, nothing like that to indicate that pedestrians may be crossing. And I'm sure you all know very well, speed limit there's 30, people routinely will exceed that. But even still at 30, the numbers on that, 1 in 4, if a pedestrian's hit at 30 miles an hour, 1 in 4, they are dead. So even at the speed limit, which people are not going, this is a dangerous intersection for people to cross. Now, your first response might be what mine was, which is, well, just go down to the next marked crosswalk and go there. The problem is, suppose I'm trying to go do laundry at the laundromat, I take a bus ride and I have my kids in tow, and I need to get across the street. Now I have to herd all of these children with me down all the way to Neely in order to cross, because the sidewalk at the intersection with Centennial does not go all the way back down. So the sidewalk's only on one side of the road. So a person has to walk all the way down just to cross, just to go to a laundromat. There are plenty of other issues with this intersection in terms of people turning, it being 3 lanes because of a turn lane, intersections being blocked, all of that, of course, it's an issue. But the part that concerns me the most has to do with pedestrians and just the safety related to that. I did call the, street department, and basically I was told there's not enough foot traffic to warrant under current policy putting in a sign or anything, but I feel like it's worth bringing up and bringing to your attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to talk offline with anyone in detail, or even give you a tour around the area and point at everything.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome home.
And welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pending any questions, that's all I have.
Thanks.
Amber Green.
Good evening, Council. Amber Green, Director of Communications for the city. I just wanted to give an update on the DORAs. The DORAs, designated outdoor refreshment areas, for anyone that may be watching or listening and doesn't know, those did go live today. You guys approved the ordinance 26-24, authored by council members Rose Helvey and Sarah Gullion. Thank you for the approval. I just wanted to give an update on everything that's transpired since then and how we will be handling things moving forward. Following the adoption of the ordinance, planning and execution were required to make the DORA implementation a reality, and that was taken on by the city administration and a formed DORA committee. The DORA committee was made up of city staff, business leaders, public safety, and members of the public works team, dedicated many hours to mapping and defining the boundaries. The ordinance did map and define those boundaries, but we worked with Kyle from the county to create maps that are available on the city's website and also posted in participating businesses in each of the 3 DORA districts. We coordinated with all of the participating businesses, and that includes bars and any of the businesses within the district. They can participate without being an alcohol establishment. Creating signage and educational materials, developing safety and enforcement protocols. We hosted multiple informational sessions for the business owners so they would know how this needs to be executed moving forward. And we navigated required state level approval processes, not only for the city itself, but we also aided the business owners with their applications as well. This timeline was ambitious, but intentional. Our goal was to have the DORAs in place this week because, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Ironman is coming up on Saturday. That's a huge event for the city. We wanted to put these DORA districts to the test with an event right off the bat. So I'm excited that they are in effect and we will be seeing lots of athletes, families, and friends in town this week, and they should be able to enjoy what we've put forward with this. Thanks to the extensive work of the administration, council, and committee members, that goal has been met, and this marks an exciting chapter for Muncie's economic and cultural development moving forward. I do want to respectfully make very clear that this success stems from committed follow-through, collaboration, and months of administrative effort after the ordinance was passed. There was a lot of red tape moving forward with the state, as I'm sure you can imagine, and there was a lot of questions fielded by the DORA committee and the mayor's office with the application process for the businesses, and questions just for ourselves so we know how the city can stay best in line with the ATC guidelines for the DORA moving forward. We appreciate your support in enabling this project and passing this ordinance, and we're happy to report that this is all live and we're moving forward. And I'm happy to answer any questions. This was mostly just for your information and to be read into the public record, so that way anyone watching knows what we have to celebrate.
Good job, Councilman Selden.
Good job, and congratulations for meeting the deadline. I'm sure there were many questions and many new things to learn about DORA. So Councilman Gillian and I apologize in advance about all the hard work and all the extra time that you.
It was a learning experience for everybody.
Well, good job doing that. I do have a couple of questions. In your opinion, what percent of the businesses that were included in DORA participated in the training workshops that you had?
Off the top of my head, if I had to give a percent, I would say probably somewhere around 50%. Multiple businesses attended both sessions, sent multiple employees. A couple businesses just brought their owners and or managers to one session, but I would say overall it's probably 50% came to those in person. Of those that didn't participate in person, we did hear or see many of them because they've come to City Hall to pick up their cups and their posters. So all of them have been in communication.
One more question, if I may, for Ms. Green. Did you record those workshops? Are you making them available for people that did not participate?
We did not record them, but the slide presentation that was given is on the DORA website, and the DORA website is muncie.in.gov/DORA.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President. And I was just going to make a comment that I did attend one of those, and that, yeah, the PowerPoint presentation is good. And I think that, they can look at that and be able to see, all the, everything, how it breaks down, and the public too, if they have questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, it was informative. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis Westbrook.
Good evening. Curtis Westbrook, 1208 South Madison Street, Muncie. I'm here as a follow-up. When I was here a few months ago, I had asked the city attorney a question about referendum, and I have not heard anything back. I haven't been able to get in contact. I'd like to know if you have that question. I also have a comment I'd like to make as well.
Yeah, I honestly haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
It's been 3 months, sir.
Sure. I represent the council. If one of them wants to provide me with that assignment, I can certainly look into
I
that.
think you should have told me that when I was here 3 months ago, don't you think? When you took the information and said you'd get back with me or have an answer?
What was the referendum on?
I apologize. I'm not the city attorney. I'm the city council attorney. I have to work with the city attorney to get.
Do you remember what I asked you?
I don't remember the exact question, no.
Okay. The question is, and it's obvious that we need to answer this question. I think the city's residents should be the one to answer it. Because the administrations that we've had since Mayor Carey, when he separated the community centers from the city, and eventually they fell apart. We need to elevate our thinking, our vision, either on this council or the city administrations. We are responsible for recreating our youth. Okay, but the question is, the referendum question is, what do we need to do, or what will it take to have the city vote on a referendum to have a city-run, city-owned, city-staffed, city-paid-for community center from ground up? And you don't have to worry about Morningside. You don't have to worry about industry. You don't have to worry about none of these neighborhoods. Everybody want a piece of the pie. One large, brand new, from the ground up, city-run, city-owned, city-staffed community center. What would it take to get a referendum to have the people vote instead of playing hide the money, or we have no money with the administrations? That is the question that he was supposed to answer.
Respectively, that's on us.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I mean, Mr. Gibson is the attorney for the city council.
Okay, what will it take then? I'm asking the council.
We can get with me, you, Mr. Mason, and Mr. Mack, and maybe see what we can do. I mean, it starts with a conversation. I think we need to have a conversation first and see where we can go from there.
We are exploring
right
different options now.
But you try, okay, the other part of that is when the people decide the money, you don't have to worry about where the money comes from. It's going to be designated tax money. Okay, not new taxes, just earmarked money for the community center. You've got Ball State that claim that they're youth interested, Ivy Tech, Muncie Community Schools, community foundations. You have a lot of entities that could put money in. So for you to have to come up with some type of study to see what we need, we've been needing it since 2006 when they tore down South Madison. We don't need another 2 years of studies. We know what we need.
We're not doing a study. We're working on getting the ball rolling on. We've got a property that's already paid for, which is helpful in more ways than one. If we can, granted, we're gonna have to go out after money. The mayor's already committed.
If the people have the referendum and they vote to have the money taken from taxes,
So,
you don't have to worry about it.
so I think maybe what he's wanting you to do is
Answer that
to look
question
into
first,
that
yeah.
question. So I think that's what we really need right now. I
That'll
think
solve all
that's
the
all we have to
problems.
do right now is say, if one of you will talk to Attorney Gibson and find that out.
I will.
Yeah, I will, just real quick, if you're talking about a referendum to designate where current city revenue is going.
No.
say-
Ask the question. If the citizens think we should have a city-owned, city-run, city-funded community center.
Just asking, just like having a poll to ask if that
Correct.
can happen?
That's a good
I
start
mean,
right there, yes.
Sure, I don't think there's anything
No,
stopping
you're
anybody
right.
from doing that. If you're talking about the financing, no, there is a set process in place for how the current revenue streams of the city are appropriated and spent.
Okay.
And the public, I mean, that's what this body does, that's what the mayor's office does. But if you're just asking for a poll on whether or not it needs to happen, sure.
I think it's you can call it a poll, but I think it has a little bit more depth to the poll. Do you remember, you probably don't remember, when there was a referendum for the city of Muncie to vote, citizens to vote whether or not we should have a city county government? That was the question posed to the citizen.
I think that was a special legislative
Yeah.
mechanism put in place.
Yeah, okay, well, that's what I'm asking, so I guess the council can get a.
I have a question.
Yes.
You're probably referring to when people go to vote and there's a
That's what-
referendum
Yes,
on there?
correct,
Okay,
correct.
to vote.
Correct.
Okay, well,
Referendum.
yeah, but,
That's why we need to look into that.
yeah, so there's elections coming, yeah.
We'd have to, we don't
I
know.
don't, I
We
don't know
can't
how,
answer
I don't
that.
know how we missed this 3 months ago. And I stood right here and asked the same question.
Asked the same question also. I wasn't getting anywhere with that, so, I mean, if you want an apology, then.
Oh, no apology. Like I said, I think we should also we should have some vision. We have kids, they're gonna be here the rest of our life. We need to have a collaborated effort by all the entities that say that they serving you and do something for our youth. Even a summer work program, not this piecemeal crap they put together. The mayor's been putting together every summer, 50 kids, 75 kids. We got every kid, when we were coming up, every kid from 13 to 18 that wanted a summer job had one. The funds were there. It was called, of course, the CEDAR program, but there was a government money. We got enough money here between these entities to do that here in Muncie. And if money helps the household, get the kids some money to take to the house. Okay, not this work 5 days, 5 days all summer long crap that the mayor's got going on right now. I appreciate what he's trying to do, but we need to up the ante if we really care about our kids.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into this referendum for you. And have an answer for you next meeting.
Okay, or Mr. McIntosh can give me a call. Let me know what the.
Okay.
I'll give you a call.
Mr. President.
You can too, sure.
I am a teacher, Muncie Community School teacher, and for the last, what the administration has done with the youth work program, I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree with you. I'm a middle school teacher. A lot of my students look forward to it, and
What you're saying.
I'm sorry?
Some is better than none, is basically what you're saying. I'm saying that
Some,
we need some kids working is better than all of them.
well, that's what the resources are there. Everything is tight, right? And I'm sure if the
We
mayor
got
or
$9
somebody.
million bond voted for fire department. When fire departments don't fight fires, firemen fight
Okay.
fires. Why couldn't there have been a $3 million fire department and $2 million for community center or something
Okay,
like that?
this is
Where's the
separate.
vision?
Okay, yeah, I was just talking
We are
about that
responsible for our
yes,
kids.
I agree with
All
you.
right, we're gonna get that for you, Curtis, and we'll get back with you.
That's all I have.
Okay, if that's all there is, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Hold on just,
I'd like to call the mayor up and talk to him a second.
Mr. Mayor?
Started to call him up.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I've been out to your skate park out there. And it's nice. I'm sure glad they are using it.
Yes.
Have you been on a skateboard, Jerry?
No,
We can't
No,
do
you-
that. We're not gonna do that.
I'm too afraid for that.
I used to, but you ever seen that movie, A-Team?
Yeah?
Well, I'd like to say this, I like it when a plan comes together. And I want to thank you personally for making sure that got done.
Well, I played a small piece,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of people involved. I greatly appreciate you saying that. There were many, many people involved, and
I want to thank everybody that had anything to do with that, because those kids are definitely having a good
oh,
time.
they are
I mean,
loving it.
Others is that they're still out there.
Yes.
They are loving it, yes.
That's nice.
A great resource for our community.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the summer program. I know Mr. Westwood might be upset about stuff, but what keeping the kids busy and for them to learn finance, there's so many compartments to it that is so successful, and kids look forward to work in it. They're just scared to be, like, if they were in the program, they say, Sylvie, do you think they'll let me work again next year, or are they going to let somebody else? So it's a great program. I hear about it all the time because any teacher probably in the schools or somebody that works with youth, the kids appreciate it, and the Parks Department and yourself are doing a great job. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I will say, when we started, there wasn't one. There was one before us, and we were able to get it restarted through Carl Malone's efforts. And we're excited that it has grown each and every year. And we also have, in addition to the 110 that were involved this year through the parks,
Yeah.
there were also 70 involved through TeenWorks. So we grow it, but we don't always grow it through our own efforts if we can bring others in to help students and the youth of Muncie. And that's what we've done. But everybody's got their own opinion. And would it be nice if it was 1,000? It would. But we have grown it, and we will continue to try and figure out how to make that be the continued. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I got one last thing. Miss Shelby was Assistant of the Month. I were in the meeting last month. I didn't relay that message, so I apologize. So that's why we didn't have Citizen of the Month this month. So I just wanted to, she didn't forget. It was on me, so.
Yeah, thank you for saying that,
You're welcome.
Mr. Garrett, because I was kind of upset because I always do my job and I was never relayed that information and I wasn't sure who was doing it this month and I didn't want to invite somebody to come here when it's not my turn. So, but thank you for saying that.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. We adjourn. Meeting adjourned.